Welcome everyone to the first episode of Storytime with Blossom. Today I'm going to start reading through my favorite visual novel, Katawa Shoujo. Change the read in English. Okay, so during this I will be reading through multiple visual novels. I'm going to get all of the paths. I'm going to get the good endings and the bad endings. I'm going to stick with one girl and complete all the endings first, depending on who. I already know which order I want to go and read through, so it's like I know we're gonna get the bad ending, we're gonna get the neutral ending, and then we're gonna get the good ending before we move on to the next character. So let's start, shall we? A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle, like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pyre of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together, furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I supposed to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note sipped between the pages of my math book when I was not looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. Sorry. As I pondered the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently fall from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hisao, you came. A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to conversation. I turn to face the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Ah, Iwanako, I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Ah, damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result? Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst from my chest and claim this girl for itself. Doki doki! Here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I can even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, safe from my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they are being stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try and massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops and I go weak in the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clattering of branches above. Incessant, sorry. Oh no! Katawa Shoujo. I really love the music in this visual novel. It's really, really good. It was a small studio who worked on this. I think it was like 20 something people or something. I know it's pretty small, so it's really good. So yeah, we had a heart attack, it seems like. Hisao's world is about to change forever. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I can barely count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It has caused the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently I had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their symphony had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even at the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. What? So you were like, oh yeah, so wasn't it great when you tried to confess to me and I almost died? Yeah, that was good times, good times. That would be so terrible. I can't even imagine if that ever happened. Oh my god. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if treatment or surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scars that those surgeries had left on my chest, slowly changing in appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of an omen. I still asked the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around and answers the answer shows that there's at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storage room for books. I ended up working my way through it, one small stock at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands, but I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the books I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gloomy mass. In some kind of gooey mass, I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing. Sometimes I pause in realization that I didn't even know which day of week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness, though the barrier of nonchalance had set up for me. The pages of my books would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become too hard to bear, that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling, as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely. I I couldn't even cry. I was so sad he could not even cry. Today the doctor come in and give me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he is trying to make efforts to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It has been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There's this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting through his paper and then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he's just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine, and he looks in the he looks me in the eye for a moment. Hello, hello, Hisao. How are you today? I don't answer him, but I smile a bit back at him. I do believe you could, I do, I do believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precaution, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, while whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hands and take a look of it myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, uh, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold perception. I try to read them, but it is so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting only makes me feel sicker. All this? For the rest of my life? Every day? I'm afraid this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence boost is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please. Oh, please come down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down. The way he says it tells me he knew full well I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concerns show, it's ignored. We all understand your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it is wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I have spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specialize in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What am I? It has 24-hour nursing staff and only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. Thinking of it as boarding school of sorts, it's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that is only if you want to go. But your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple of weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. They'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. This is what I wanted to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All of the students are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. It's funny. I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring. But now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all of this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this. But the thought of going to disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school, something. It's something. It's a fresh start. My life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Hmm. Yeah, this can be so difficult here as we are starting Act 1, Life Expectancy. Yeah, this is going to be. I can't even really imagine having something happen to you that is changing like your entire life, right? It's crazy to even think that. Oh, look at! I really like the images here. So a lot of the images are. Don't know if they're of like real places or if they're like really heavily based off real places, but a lot of the pictures look like they're like just taken at real life locations. But I really like the pictures that are showcased throughout this. I almost said anime. Throughout this visual novel, the music, like I said in the beginning, was also like a lot of like really good. And the characters that we meet along the way are some of them are fun and some of them are not my favorite, but you know, we'll get to all of them together. So okay, so we arrive at the school. The gate looks far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron and grey plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wonder if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but I couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and smelled of fresh cut grass and all of other park-like things. I really like the, you can kind of feel like, oh, that's like the steps to go up to my building. Yeah, it is really like, it is kind of like welcoming, but it also has like old school like feel to it, right? So it's just very, I don't know, I like the look of it. It's pretty good. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open minded. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That is what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my mind it just does not feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is really caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kinda eerie. It makes me wish there was someone here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hummed with the wind and the green hues flashing around me, catching my attention. It makes me think about the hospital again. How they can say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is calming color? So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of a haunted main building, I sorry. Only after I stand in front of the hot, the haughty main building, I surprised myself by realizing why the gators bothered me. It was my last chance to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous and with this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture noticed me as I enter. We were the only people in the lobby, so it is only logical. You must be Nikki. Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom. The science teacher. My name is Muto, sorry. Welcome. We exchange handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They are waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like to be the center of attention, but I guess it is inevitable in situations like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Yeah, of course. Hi. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course. But not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right. But it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I am late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Okay, get a grip. This is a big step. I know that. But there isn't any point to worrying so much about it. At least, not this soon. I follow the teacher into the class and look around. Practically so I won't have to meet the curious gaze of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's a lot of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall taken up by a blackboard and a high old-fashioned window only makes it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with the shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with the metal frames, simple and efficient. I stop walking in the front of class and face other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school. But then why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them. Nah, only it's not just immediately obvious. Then I notice one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb on her right hand. It is a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone is talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he is introducing me to class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me, a girl with really long straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There is one boy with cane leaning against the locker at the rear of the class. It is weird seeing someone so young with cane. Another girl seems to be making weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rim of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she was doing. She's kind of cute. So is the cheery looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I did not notice her the moment I walk in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along with everyone, even though I am a new student. And after that, oh, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks it up from here. Everyone seems to be satisfied even with what Zora has said, though a few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, when he is done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a little weird thing to do. The first row girl claps this time around, with one hand against her wrist that ends in bandage stump. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Hi, Daijiro? Yeah, it is fine with me. Oh, that is good. You can work with Hakimichi. She is the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know. And who else would be better to do that? And who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the daily assignment and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't even know who Hakimichi is, so the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right, Hakimichi is right there. Shizune Hakimichi. As he calls out her name, the cute bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her, by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakimichi, right? Oh, hajimemashite. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. It is nice to meet you. Oh, what? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakimichi. I'm Misha. This is Hakimichi. Shi-chan. Giggling, Micha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she's been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short, yet carefully, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, her dark blue eyes that seem to be alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. Hajimemashite. She immediately looks over at Misha, who smiles and makes a quick gestures with her hands. Hakimichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, "You'll be able to talk to people," and "Who better to explain things to?" I can see you're a little confused, right? Right? Oh, but I understand why you would think I was Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it is nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be standing up there for no reason. Right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today, so soon. He-chan, right? He-chan? Yeah, it is fit, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? Oh, it's just a surprise. I never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It just fits! You look just like I imagine! Yeah, you look just like a He-chan! I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakimichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep. If there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and, familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word "vid," making it stick out in her otherwise fluent translation. Yeah, thanks. That would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kinda came straight to class today. That is no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you are going before you get there, and not just with school either. Always, even if it is trip to convenience store. Really, Shi-chan? Learn about where you are going? I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to going along with half-assly, but anyway. I didn't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling. but that truck hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Eh? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That is how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Help! Stop looking like you just failed a test. Alright. Another thing, you don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. You can just call her Shi-chan. Okay, maybe that is too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Yep, Shizune is fine. Yeah, okay, that would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier, especially about Shizune, who I assumed would be all business. Well, still, she seems like that, just less so, I guess. Huh? Alright, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start working now, or Shi-chan will get mad. The assignment is also kinda long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. Oh yeah, that too! More! Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. Well, I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It is a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of both difficult and necessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than anyone else in the classroom, despite our late start though. Shizune and Misha really are capable. They are quite different though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she is look, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish. Not to mention a little more easily distracted though. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel a little guilty about that. The clock tower bell rings, signaling the end of the period, and now it is time for lunch. Okay, I think that is a good time to stop here. Thank you so much for listening and following the story. I hope you enjoyed the episode 1 of Katawa Shoujo. If you enjoyed it, I hope you tell your friends about it. If you really liked it, hopefully you can like and subscribe. Hopefully you are listening to our shorts and watching our podcast as well. And until next time, I am very thankful you came, and I can't wait to see you in episode 2 of Katawa Shoujo. Matane!